Julius Debrah, I don't know. I'm not engaged with him. But how did I know? So I knew of a story that when Professor Mills was president, there was some guy who they said was very close to the NDC, very close to Mills, very formidable within the NDC. That Professor Mills didn't give a job to, the days of David Lamptey. Those who know David Lamptey will know, may he rest in peace. The days of David Lamptey, I heard all of those stories. That there was this guy who was very powerful, very close to Mills, and Mills struggled to exclude him from the government. And everyone was talking about how well he has taken it. I didn't get the name of the person at that time. I only found out last month, in July, when the chief of staff was addressing the Mills event. And then he said the same story I had known, but I didn't know who the story was about. And he said the story was about himself. And I said, so this is Julius Debrah. Listen to the story. When he talked at the Mills event, listen.
A personal experience with you. So one day I got a call from Uncle Beba Kumensa, who said, Julius, Prof, the Adom-Otchere Eastern Region as regional minister, Etifa CV Bremi. Then I went to see Uncle Beb with my CV. Now, there was supposed to be an announcement on one particular day after the independence celebration. So I was so excited. I had dressed in my white, seated on my bed, waiting for the announcement. Unfortunately, when the announcement came, my name was omitted. I felt very sad. Then, to my surprise and amazement, if a president tells you he will do something for you, and for a reason or two he's not able to do it, I don't think he owes you an apology. One morning, my phone rang, and when I picked it, it was Honorable Sam Atamers. So I picked it as Uncle Sam and said, Julius, hold on for the president. I said, yes, sir. And Prof was like, Julius, today I didn't know see now how pa. And I said, oh, but I'm married, sir. He said, Julius, most your band no, me any penny now, I won't continue will be a better mercy. And that's why I drop your name. And today, I still think about it. Does the president owe an ordinary person like me an apology?
That was the story. So I had heard this story then in 2009 that Prof had bound somebody in Eastern Region, is a very important person, blah, blah, blah. So just this July, when the chief of staff spoke, I said, oh, so this is the Julius Debrah. Da, da, da. Okay, I get it. It was making sense to me. Then I felt that, hey, if that is so, this NDC succession race is going to be tough. Really, really tough. And if you look at the history, let me just say this very quickly and I move on. They are giving me the time. If you look at the history, this will be the first time that the NDC is going into a real presidential contest. Never gone to it before. Since 92. So let's look at it. 92, J.J. Rawlings. 2000, Atta Mills, no contest. Atta Mills did a few contests, but he was winning by 80-something%. It was obvious that Atta Mills was going to win against Eddie Annan. Atta Mills was going to win against Spio Gabra in the two instances. And then came President Mahama. Vice President became president, no contest. President Mahama ran the second term, no contest. And President Mahama became opposition leader. 2020's elections, 2018, he won by 90%, no contest. President Mahama won again for 2024, 90%, no contest. This is the first and only time the NDC is going to have a real contest for succession of leadership. Never happened. Check the NPP. 1992, there was a contest. Professor Dubois had to struggle for it. 1996, big contest. John Ajekun Kufuor had to struggle for it. 1998, big contest. Akufo-Addo Kufuor had to struggle. 98 was one of the biggest contests. After that, no contest. Kufuor becomes president. Second term, no contest. 2007, huge one. They couldn't even get a regular winner from the first round. Akufo-Addo won, but he didn't cross. And then Alanche Martin said, no problem, he's my senior brother, let's go on. After that, no contest, no contest. The next contest they had, 2024, Bawumia and Kennedy, tight. Bawumia goes through so many conversations. So that's the NPP has had about 3 or 4 real contests. The NDC has never had one. This is the first time they are going to have a real contest. Look at the political history, and I'm going to write something about it in a book very, very soon. So this is Julius Debrah. So I now know who Julius Debrah is. Okay. Because I don't really know him. So, but Johnson, I said, I knew we used to have Sunday morning conversations in Sakumo. I know him quite well. I know some of his family. I know them. Okay. So Councillor Tuforson is now also in the race. Talk of Julius Debrah again. Viewers, something struck me when on the day that we were all dying and we were waiting for the announcement. And you know, as a communication, I always said, I love Felix Kwachiofosu, not because he's of anything, because of the work he does. And I feel for all of these people, Kojo Pon Kroma, all those people who do that kind of work. It's very, very difficult. So when the thing happened, I was saying, yay, how is Felix and Shamima going to manage this thing? What? That's how I felt. And I said, I don't talk to Felix. I would have called him and said, Chief, Charlie, you have to take heart to this thing. You have to manage it well. The announcement, you have to do it. But I don't think he'll pick my call. I don't know. If it's Standowe, maybe I could have called him. But I knew this is not Stan's schedule. But I was thinking that So when the boys told me that Charlie, government is going to have and make the announcement, I was just, I already Jesus. Felix is, I hope he will manage it. Then I looked at the announcement and here was Chief of Staff. And my goodness, this guy was majestic. The way he delivered the announcement. And later on, I saw the Ways of TV video that Standowe put together. And I noticed that he had been crying before he came to do the announcement. If you watch the Ways of TV video, you saw that when he broke down, he was crying before he did the announcement, not to remind anybody of pain. But viewers, look at this announcement again and look at the power and authority for a man who was crying that he delivered this to the nation. Have a look.
I have the unpleasant duty, sadly, to announce a national tragedy involving the crash of a military helicopter this morning around the Adansi area in Ashanti region. Government regrets to announce the demise of the following persons in the tragic crash. Dr. Edward Kofi Omane-Boamah, Minister for Defense. Alhaji Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Muhammad, MP, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Alhaji Muniru Muhammad Lemuna, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator and former Minister for Food and Agriculture. Dr. Samuel Sapon, Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, and Mr. Samuel Abuaji, a former parliamentary candidate. Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, Flying Officer Manin Chum Ampedu, and Sergeant Ernest Ado Mensah. And government extends our condolences and sympathies to the families of our comrades and the servicemen who died in service to the country. All flags are to fly at half-mast until further notice. Thank you.